Do you feel like you are the same person you were 5 years ago, 3 years ago, even moments
No
ago?
way. I'm like, I'm a completely different person from 5 years ago and 3 years ago. Oh my God. It has been very transformative years for me last 3 years. Like most transformative probably in my whole life.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
experience changed you the most?
Ooh, it's saucy. Saucy experience to talk about on Valentine's Day.
Okay, yeah, true.
So yeah, so I got disconnected if I want to put it in a very mysterious and more like fantasy kind of wording. It's like I got disconnected from the first love of my life. And that's what happened. So that's why then I'm like, oh, grief, it hurts. And then that threw me into a very unknown universe. And then I started having this very different experiences with life after that. And if I want to put it into a very regular day to day wordings, then I got divorced. That's what happened 3 years ago. So yeah, so life changing.
Sorry about that.
You don't have to be. I'm not. Best thing that can
Anyway.
happen so far.
Okay. So what did it open that wasn't open before to you?
Oh,
Either
this is
in
a
terms of
very
internal experience or could be consciousness expansion.
wow, that's a deep question. Well, what it was so one of the things that I learned or it cleared up more and more. Like I think most of the things we actually know about life, we kind of know from the knowledge-based way. It's like, oh, you read a book or you learned it from a movie or things like that. So it's more like, okay, I have the knowledge. But then experiencing that knowledge is actually makes that knowledge turns that knowledge into wisdom. I think that's what happened. Like I learned to understand love more. I mean, then I realized like to experience actual love, you have to learn what love is not. So to know love, you have to learn what love is not. So that's what I've been going through. And before like it was my first love and only one person I was with, like I've been with in my whole life. So for me it's like, okay, all the information I gathered from books, movies and stories from people, I was experiencing all of those with that one person for the first time. And then when it didn't work out, then I started to learn, oh, where did it go wrong? That's what opened up, like it kind of cracked my soul like into pieces, and then I got to see what's inside the soul. Like it can sound very romantic, like, oh, it's kind of like a fairy tale thing, like, oh, I found my true love and then sad because it was not there anymore. But it's not. It kind of expands your whole self, like how you understand your own soul, how you understand your um people around you, your family, your society, your world. And you get to see, like when we are in the system, we often don't get to see. But when we're outside the system and when you're going through grief, in some culture, they say, like, if you really want to understand love or if you really want to understand life, be near a grieving person. And it was just a saying, but I understand what it means now because when you're grieving, life opens up in a whole new dimension and you would start to see things that you never ever would see before or even think about before. So that's what happened. So it's a big deal. And when there's a little bit of crack in the system, within that system, that's not a crack anymore. That expands throughout your whole life. And
Yeah.
then you get to see where the cracks were, like in your life, in other people's life, and that's very. And then you learn to love more, unless you kind of get consumed by the grief a lot, which I kind of didn't want to, like, I tried hard not to be, and I think it worked. So then you get to experience more and more of it. And since your heart has opened up a lot more, then you get to feel it a lot more. Like, if you don't get yourself succumbed to the grief. So that's something that opened me up a lot. Have you experienced anything similar in your life?
I'm on the process of exploring myself more internally. Learn about myself, and I have some experiences which led me to understand what kind of love I want and what kind of person I want to be with. Hopefully sometimes in the future it will happen, but I I'm not in the process. Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm not putting myself in a position that I'm stopping everything in my life for one
In the
thing to
search of
happen.
that one
Yeah,
person.
yeah. I am I'm putting myself, I am on a journey, and everything that's for me will come to me eventually. It doesn't
Like,
matter
you
where I
will,
am.
yeah,
Yeah,
you will attract all the things
I
that
will
are for you.
attract, yeah. So I'm just going, I just stopped. I cannot say I stopped. I still worry, but I try to worry less and less every day and just try to be more present and conscious about all of my actions and everything that surround me, all the beauty,
Uh,
sunlight, even if it's rare in Finland, but still like very
all the
limited amount of
auroras you
daylight.
guys get,
Auroras, yes,
and
and
the snow.
all the beauties around me, even tiny minuscule level, and just going forward head on with life. Yes.
That's one of the
So,
best ways to do it, actually. Yeah.
yeah, to be honest, yes. What part of consciousness would you say you are still growing into?
Growing into?
Yes, like what kind of experience you are trying to expand yourself to?
It will be more like, I want to feel the world more, if that makes sense. So a divorce is actually, it's considered a crisis. Like, it's a crisis in life, because everything you knew kind of broke down, and like, you had a future plans, and your life kind of breaks down when that happens. I would be able to have like a level 1 or level 2 or level 3 depth of conversation, but after going through that crisis and the grieving, the intense grieving around it, now I think I can go much deeper into a soulful conversation that is much more satisfying to me. It's like every single human being has grief inside them. And what I learned is the best path, the best channels to connect to a human being is through sadness. Like, you can connect to a person through happiness, like, oh, let's enjoy something together, or let's celebrate life. That's awesome. But to truly connect to another human being is through the shadows and through the dark paths and through the sadness and grief and all the pain they go through. And after I suffered my own pain, I realized, oh, wait, I can connect to way more people and in a much more depth than I was ever capable of connecting before. Like, sometimes it's like some of the people like come back to my life from my old world, but I am observing that I'm having much deeper conversation with them that I've never had with them before. And now I also get to meet new people, and the quality of conversation changed a lot. And you know how it is, you know how people are like, oh, I'm feeling lonely. It doesn't, like, life doesn't feel good. And it's like you feel lonely even though there are like, you have like a lot of friends and a lot of people around you, but you still feel lonely. So in my theory, that's where the no loneliness is coming from, is most of the time, is when we cannot have we cannot connect to another person from that depth that we want to. When you're
Yes.
connecting to a person from a shallow level, you will feel lonely because you cannot reach inside your soul as much. But the more you can do it, even with a stranger, like complete stranger that you have met for like 5 minutes, you come back home after that small conversation that reached a certain depth, you would feel like, okay, I'm connected to the world. I think that's what cures loneliness a lot. So when you feel that you're part of this world, like it doesn't have to be like with just one friend or two friends. It can be, but it can be with a complete random stranger. I'm sure you had that experience. Like you have this maybe
Yes.
1 hour conversation or 10 minutes conversation with a complete stranger, but you come back home and it's like, oh, I feel so seen, or I have seen a person in such a different light that I've never seen before, or it kind of changes your perspective towards the world. Like everything feels so different. So yeah, that kind of puts life back into your body, pieces by
Yeah.
piece by
I
piece. So
think, yes, one of the thing that I have
mm,
heard, I think couple of months ago, I've read somewhere that all, and I'm not sure who said it, but it's probably Dostoevsky. It's like all the happiness or positive emotion have the same frequency, but all sadness comes in a different and newer frequency. It's always different. So it
oh
always
yeah,
hurts, and you always experience something new when you are sad or feeling anything negative. But when you are going through something positive, it doesn't resonate much because it's just the
it's the
same
same
thing as
frequency.
before.
Mhm.
Yes. And yeah, I have met people, a lot of people during my travel on online
You do a
social
lot of
media,
traveling, yeah.
and I have seen people who can experience life in so meaningful way, and they are centered, they have their own thoughts, and they can express themselves so eloquently. And but I have also met people who experience the similar kind of thing. They go to different places, they go have the opportunity to like travel across the world, but still can't receive anything because they either don't allow themselves to experience what another person is experiencing, or they just think what they have in their mind, what they have so far is complete and they don't need to learn anything more. But they still want to travel, they still want to experience because they think maybe it's cool and maybe it's hip, or they just want to do something to pass the time. And it always surprised me, and it used to annoy me a lot, but I understand, like, people are people. We do what we have to do to survive because we always choose to survive. And another thing is, I think for like since the earliest time, we always want to connect with other people, from the cavemans to us. Even Facebook was built so that people can connect. That was one of the primary core concept of the social network, that it will help us to connect,
A
the
certain
basic
way it
point.
does a little bit.
It does it a little bit, but
I mean,
it um
I just had a conversation with one of my friends. We were in the same class in 1997. And she's the first one who told me about Valentine's Day. I'm like, oh, what is this? And then I had that conversation with her today. Like, imagine that. And I found her, like, we lost each other in 1997. And then I found her, like, through Facebook. And imagine this, after all these years, I reconnected. Yeah.
mhm. I think. when we try to recreate all the physical experience on the virtual realm, it's not possible to recreate everything on the virtual realm because a lot of our emotions, our feelings, it only happens when we see them. We cannot like
Like
even
in
word it
physical
out.
presence. We get to experience more people. Like imagine if we were to meet them. Like I don't think we would be able to meet as many people as we do because of
True, true.
online thing.
I think I read somewhere that about 100 years ago, them like the amount of people one single average person meet in their entire lifetime, we meet
Mhm.
the same number of people
Yeah.
in 1 year
Yeah.
or
It's
maybe
like
less.
yeah.
Our experience also expanded globally. We can connect around the world, and it also helped us to expand our consciousness, and we get to know people from different culture. And I think it's one of the most beautiful thing about having a network and a structure that help us connect with anyone and everyone around the world, but only if we want to,
Only
and
if we want to
allow
allow
ourselves to feel
ourselves.
the experience. Yeah,
True. One of the other things I want to touch on a little bit, like when you were saying, I was thinking, you know how you were like, oh, there are some people who actually travel but don't really open themselves up fully to the experience. So I was
yeah,
thinking, you know, I know people like that, and I think maybe I was a little bit like that. Like we all are in some way like this, like somewhere you visited 10 years ago, suppose, and if you visit the same place after there's a change within you, you will feel it very differently. Like I'm thinking those people who looks like, oh, they're not perceiving much or they're not connecting as much. So it's kind of the fun thing about that is like when they're in that moment of life where they're not connecting as much, but if they have something, if they have a life changing experience and then there's a change within them, and then if they go back, I think they will have a much different experience and it will blow their mind. Like if you have very vast range of change within you. Like imagine this, like you are growing up since you were 5 or 10, you're like super wise, you know everything. Then life would be super bland to you because there is nothing to explore or expand into much because you already know everything, you connected with everybody. But suppose you're like somebody who doesn't connect as much. It's like, oh, okay, fine. I'm traveling and I'm just taking pictures and posting on Facebook. And that's pretty much it. But then there is something that expanded their soul, like an event. And then if they go back to the same place, the difference they would see, that is very euphoric. So all these people are like ticking time bombs to experience that euphoria future in their lives. So I think that's pretty cool. Like,
yeah.
yeah, that's like a potential for them to experience that. So it's not all
We
bad that they're not perceiving it in
it's
this moment. But yeah,
Yeah, they are
hopefully
not
they will
perceiving in
sometimes.
this moment, but we are humans with infinite potential. A
Yeah,
lot of
true.
things can happen in our own lifetime that we cannot perceive or even think that it
Like in
might
this moment,
happen.
yeah.
Yes, and, and we always underestimate how far we can go in 1 year. We always underestimate because we
Yeah,
don't
we have
know
no
what
way to
experience
estimate
are
that.
what
Yeah.
experience are coming toward us
Yeah.
at
There's no
any
way to
given
know.
point.
There is no way
So
to know.
yes. Anyway, it was nice talking with you. Happy
Okay.
Valentine's Day and have a nice day.
Happy Valentine's Day. You too.